Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling one of the most persistent and frustrating challenges facing modern organizations.
The stubborn representation gaps in leadership.
Exactly. I mean, we talk endlessly about diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI, and yet you look at the data and it consistently shows that career advancement, it still isn't equitable.
Not at all.
Particularly when you look at that path from, mid-level management into the senior roles.
That's the core paradox, isn't it?
Mhm.
Most organizations have the stated intent to be fair, but that good intent often clashes with a flawed execution.
Right.
The systems themselves, the traditional human processes we rely on for promotions, are often just incapable of preventing these subtle existing inequities from being perpetuated. Human judgment, even when it's well-meaning, it just tends to reinforce the status quo.
And, relying on another mandated training session isn't solving the structural problem. So our mission today is to unpack a truly transformative shift. We're looking at a systematic, data-driven approach where organizations are deploying artificial intelligence fueled by massive amounts of anonymized employee data to create genuine fairness in career advancement.
We're shifting the analysis from, subjective opinion and qualitative feedback, which is often where bias lives, to objective quantitative proof.
Okay.
The big promise here is that AI can identify systemic disparity patterns that are simply invisible to human HR teams, no matter how dedicated they are.
That's the key distinction. It's not about finding the bad actors or something.
No.
It's about fixing the broken machine. So to begin, let's explore the AI advantage. Why have traditional human methods fallen so short even after decades of effort to ensure equitable promotions?
Well, the difficulty, it really stems from the sheer complexity of a career path. A promotion decision isn't one isolated moment.
Right.
It's the culmination of hundreds of micro decisions and subtle interactions over years. We're talking about who gets that high visibility project, who gets a specific mentorship opportunity.
Or who gets put forward for those stretch assignments.
Exactly. Or even just who gets regular access to senior leadership. Those are the crucial inputs to a successful promotion application.
And those inputs are often handed out based on, affinity or unconscious preference, not pure merit.
Precisely. When you rely solely on human processes, you risk institutionalizing those existing inequities. Unconscious bias isn't necessarily malice. It's the tendency for humans to gravitate toward familiarity.
Which means if the current leadership is predominantly one demographic,
they often unconsciously seek out and reward characteristics that mirror their own journey. Yes.
So the human element isn't just the weak link. It's the source of the hidden complexity that AI is designed to cut through. How does AI actually, execute this?
AI is fundamentally a pattern detector with enormous processing capacity. It can ingest and analyze massive data sets covering thousands of employees' promotion histories, performance ratings, demographic attributes, you name it. And it looks for correlations that a person simply couldn't calculate in their lifetime.
And this is where it gets conceptually fascinating for you listening. It's not just flagging that Group A is promoted less often. The source material really emphasizes that machine learning is particularly effective at detecting subtle biases. Can you give us a deeper example of how AI sees a bias that a human evaluator would just miss entirely?
Sure. A human evaluator might look at two candidates, both with excellent formal performance reviews, and they promote one but not the other. They might cite something like lack of executive presence or
that old chestnut.
needs more seasoning.
Right. Those subjective phrases are often just masks for unconscious bias. But now, look at how the AI analyzes the data. The AI doesn't analyze just the promotion moment. It analyzes the inputs leading up to the promotion moment.
Okay.
It might flag that employees from Group A, let's say women of color, have identical formal performance scores to Group B, but Group A received 40% fewer high-visibility cross-functional project assignments in the previous 3 years. Ah, I see. The AI detects the systemic disparity in opportunity access, not just the final outcome disparity.
Exactly.
It's identifying that the system is basically starving Group A of the critical experience needed to clear that final promotion hurdle.
Precisely. It's detecting a disparity in the precursors necessary for success. That disparity in opportunity access is the subtle bias. And once you identify it, the organization can move past these vague notions of executive presence and address the quantifiable blockage in the system.
The analysis aims for objective fairness by forcing the company to ensure opportunity is distributed equitably.
Yes.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but it immediately raises massive privacy and ethical concerns, right? Especially when we're dealing with sensitive information like race, gender, and personal career paths. This leads us to the necessity of anonymity. How do you feed sensitive information into an AI system designed to measure differences based on that very information while still protecting individual privacy?
This is the critical juncture, and it's where clarity is absolutely essential. We have to clearly distinguish between two things: personal identifiable information, or PII,
Right.
and aggregated demographic markers.
Okay, explain that distinction because this is where the process could get a little muddled. If the goal is to measure equity between gender and racial groups, you seemingly need to feed that data in.
You do, but you must remove PII first. So PII includes names, employee ID numbers, specific dates of birth, addresses anything that links the data point directly back to a specific person, to Jane Doe.
That's all stripped out.
Completely, before the AI ever sees the data. Now, regarding the demographic markers, gender, race, ethnicity, we do need those to measure the gaps. But the key is in how the AI uses them.
Okay.
The AI model is initially trained to understand what factors historically predict successful promotion without relying on demographics. It builds a success profile based on objective metrics like tenure, performance rating score, and project type.
So the AI first learns the optimal career path based on measurable neutral factors.
Yes. And then, only once the model has flagged anomalies or areas of inefficiency, the results are cross-referenced with the anonymized demographic markers to identify where those system inefficiencies disproportionately affect Group A versus Group B.
I see.
This two-step process achieves two goals. First, it maintains employee privacy because PII is removed. Second, it mitigates the risk of the AI being overtly biased during the training phase by minimizing the influence of that protected class data on its core pattern recognition.
That makes sense. So the AI is analyzing the machine's functionality and flagging systemic friction points, and only then do we overlay the demographic data to see who is getting caught in that friction.
Exactly. But there's a critical challenge here we have to acknowledge, which our sources touch on:
Which is?
the issue of historical data bias. If an organization's promotion history has been inequitable for 20 years, and you train your AI purely on that biased history,
The AI will simply automate that historical bias.
it will. It will learn that the best predictor of promotion is being a white male, simply because that's what the data shows.
That's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem applied to DEI. So how do organizations counter that automated bias?
They need ethical AI testing frameworks. They can't just turn the AI loose. They use techniques like adversarial training and constant testing to ensure the model isn't just replicating past discrimination.
It's an ongoing process.
It has to be. The goal isn't just to predict promotions. The goal is to identify and recommend systemic changes that close the gap between the historical reality and the desired equitable future.
That requires continuous oversight. Okay, so now that we understand the methodology, clean data, ethical training, and privacy protections, let's move on to the core deep analysis. How exactly does the AI quantify these organizational inequities? What are the three dimensions of analysis it focuses on?
Right, so representation gaps are complex indicators. So AI moves beyond just a simple annual headcount review. It analyzes equity across three specific quantifiable dimensions.
Let's start with dimension one, which I guess is the most fundamental measure.
That's the promotion rate by demographic group. This is the basic calculation. AI determines which specific groups, compared to their representation in the company's overall talent pool, are being promoted at a measurably lower frequency than others.
So it immediately tells you where your biggest systemic friction points are.
Exactly. Maybe by department, region, or a specific job function. It gives you a starting point.
Simple math, but when you apply it robustly across a multi-year data set, it becomes powerful proof. Okay, now for dimension two, which addresses the pipeline issue.
Dimension 2 is gender and racial representation in senior roles, or what we call a pipeline analysis. AI tracks the movement of employees from the moment they enter the company, the entry level, through mid-management,
All the way to the top.
all the way up to executive leadership. And the model specifically identifies the altitude where underrepresentation begins to occur and where it intensifies.
So we might look great on diversity at the associate level, but if the AI shows that, say, 80% of minority groups drop off the promotion track between manager and director, the system has a severe leak.
Precisely. If you only look at the overall diversity numbers, you miss the crucial fact that the system is self-correcting back toward the historical norm at these key transition points. The AI provides a map of that funnel leakage.
And finally, dimension 3. I find this one particularly revealing because it focuses on time, the delay.
Dimension 3 is the career progression analysis, and it focuses exclusively on the speed of advancement. AI analyzes the pace at which employees from various groups are promoted, controlling for variables like education and starting role.
And what does that reveal?
It reveals whether certain groups are consistently delayed in their career advancement compared to peers who have similar performance metrics.
So someone might eventually reach the VP level, but the AI reveals that it took them 2 years longer than their peers. Why is that delay itself such a critical metric of disparity? I mean, what's the tangible harm?
Oh, the delay is hugely significant, both professionally and financially. We're talking about tangible economic damage. Those extra 2 years, they translate to lost compounding salary gains, delayed stock options vesting.
And diminished opportunities for further development, I imagine.
Exactly, and the networking associated with those higher level roles. By analyzing speed, the AI is quantifying the invisible tax that certain groups pay for navigating the system. That delay impacts their lifetime earning potential, not just their current title.
Wow.
So these three dimensions, rate, pipeline representation, and speed, they give organizations an undeniable holistic view of career equity.
So we have undeniable data on where the system is broken, who it's hurting, and how long that damage is lasting. This brings us to the most crucial segment, actionable insights and continuous improvement. What happens once the AI flags a problem? Does HR just get a black box report that says, fix promotions for Group B?
No, and that's the crucial friction point we must address. AI-powered initiatives are designed to provide actionable insights, not just flag problems vaguely. The AI provides the what and the where.
Which narrows the scope.
It dramatically narrows the scope for the human investigation to find the why. For example, if the AI uncovers a gap in the promotion rate for technical women in the engineering division, HR and leadership don't have to broadly investigate the entire company.
They can just focus on that one division.
They can focus specifically on the promotion review panels and the performance evaluation criteria used within that single division.
So they can tailor their investigation. They can ask, are the promotion criteria in that specific division biased toward a more, say, male-dominated style of contribution? Or is there a disparity in who is receiving sponsorship from the senior leaders in that area?
Precisely.
Yeah.
The goal is to move beyond just intuition. Organizations can then implement targeted strategies like mandatory sponsorship programs for underrepresented groups in that engineering division, or revamp the performance evaluation language to remove ambiguity.
And this isn't a one-time assessment. I mean, the continuous monitoring aspect must be transformative compared to a traditional annual audit.
Absolutely. The traditional audit, gathers data, produces a report, and then the organization spends a year implementing changes, often without knowing if those changes are even effective until the next audit cycle.
Right. It's a huge time lag.
A huge lag. AI allows DEI efforts to be ongoing, agile initiatives. If the company implements that new sponsorship program, the AI can immediately begin assessing whether the career progression speed for that target group starts to normalize within, say, 6 months.
You're measuring the ROI of your equity strategies in near real time.
Exactly, which allows you to quickly pivot away from ineffective programs and double down on successful ones.
That makes the investment in fairness so much more tangible and measurable. It connects the strategy directly to those measurable gaps in rate, pipeline, and speed.
It ensures that resources are deployed efficiently, based on where the data shows the greatest need and the highest potential for systemic correction. The analysis shifts the organizational focus from hoping for fairness to systematically measuring and enforcing it.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've seen how integrating AI with ethically sourced, anonymized data provides a fundamentally new approach to fostering fair and inclusive work environments. It enables data-driven decisions that are, they're difficult to ignore because they are based on irrefutable internal metrics.
And the benefits of this rigorous, systemic approach, quantifying subtle bias, tracking speed disparity, and enabling continuous improvement, they really do outweigh the implementation risks, provided, of course, that organizations maintain strict oversight over data integrity and algorithmic fairness.
Right.
This ultimately drives long-term systemic change towards a truly diverse workforce.
It forces us to reconsider the human element in system design. And that leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. If AI is primarily used to neutralize the unconscious biases embedded in human decision-making and career analysis, how does this systematic, data-driven approach fundamentally redefine what we mean when we talk about meritocracy in the modern organization?
Well, it suggests that true meritocracy isn't really about subjective opinions of performance, but about creating demonstrably equal access to the opportunities needed for success. And that's a concept that only objective data can truly measure and enforce.
Something to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.